Hey, y'all.
Oh my God.
You're supposed to say it. Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all, what?
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
We've already had a fight.
We have not. We've had a discussion.
Getting this started.
We had some...
I was going to liven it up and say something different, but no. Crisis.
Not so... Anyway.
We're married. And everybody at the table is happy about it.
Exactly.
I'm Scott.
I'm John.
And we're married.
And we're married.
Yeah, there we go. I forgot that part.
Rough start, smooth landing.
Is that what they say?
I don't know.
We
Moon
are...
it, red at night, clear as sight.
No. Sailor take warning. Red sky at morning, in morning. Red sky
at night,
red
sailor's
sky at
delight.
night, sailor's delight. We are
This
not
is not a weather...
a sailing podcast,
Not really
nor
a weather
a
watching,
weather,
weather
yes.
predicting podcast.
No, we are a knitting, and we're not a podcast. We're a YouTube show
Yeah,
about knitting.
Yeah.
And we are here to
Talk about knitting.
talk about knitting and enjoy the beautiful outdoors.
Exactly.
We're going to try it again and see if the entire contraption falls over
Right.
like last time.
Right. It's all held together with duct tape. So,
And cinder blocks.
yeah.
Yeah, so we've got stuff to talk about that's knitting related. We've got an Angela Lansbury movie to review.
We have no Betty Ann updates because
What do you mean?
do we have any Betty Ann updates?
I don't know.
Except for the fact that we may announce her a Zoom with Betty Ann as a grand prize for the
my
cow.
So I called her
Uh-huh.
and I was like, so Betty Ann, we got some ideas that we should probably for one of our knit-alongs, a prize should be a Zoom call with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because to prove that she actually exists.
Right. She does
And
exist. She's the most wonderful mother in the world, and she does exist.
I wouldn't go that far.
She doesn't exist, or she's not the most wonderful. What's the...
Do you think everybody on the camera can see that I'm wearing blue gym shorts?
No.
Like neon blue gym shorts?
Nope.
Or what is it? Business on the top, party on the bottom. Yeah, my neon blue gym shorts because it's hot out here. Betty Ann, Zoom call, and she said, well, they'll be really disappointed. I'm like, girl,
Oh.
no, they won't.
It depends on how many mint juleps she's had beforehand, I
That's
think.
true. Although she's into
Craft beer?
no, Betty Ann. Betty Ann only drinks, I think, Miller Lite.
Okay.
With salt in it.
What?
Some people put salt in their beer.
Huh.
She put salt in her beer. She doesn't drink beer that often, though.
Okay.
No, she was making, I think it was like a Bloody Mary kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
We can call up Bloody Marys with Betty Ann.
Bloody Marys with Betty Ann.
Yep.
Yes.
So maybe...
Oh!
I feel like we're in Mary Poppins, where all the wind keeps blowing all the bad nannies away.
Just a spoon. Is that in the book? That's not in the... Is that in the movie? I haven't seen the movie in so long.
Yeah, because there's that whole thing, the nannies all line up, and then like a wind shows up, and they get all blown away, and then Mary Poppins just sails in like...
Is Mary Poppins actually the best nanny? Or is she just using her magic
She's the only
for
one
nefarious
Right.
reasons?
She's the only one who showed up.
Right.
Because the rest of them got blown away.
Right.
Like our papers.
So this has been very disjointed. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yep. You know
s-
why? Because you tried something new and you threw me off.
Okay.
And I'm finally coming around.
Okay. So I have a finished object that I slaved over for minutes.
I get started in the knitting content now?
Yes, we are. I'm
Just
dismissing whatever
No,
you were talking
no.
about. So I have a finished object and I have a work in progress to discuss. What you got?
I got 3 whips.
3 whips
Uh-huh.
and 2 diamonds.
2 books
A
in a
full
run.
house, 2 books in a run.
Yeah.
You got 3 whips.
I got 3 whips.
Okay. And then we've got our knit-along to talk about. Why don't you start?
Which, for the knit-along stuff?
No. We'll just start with one of your works in progress.
All right. We'll just go with this one. This one's kind of the least. This is the Sockhead Cowl. I'm working on... Sheepers.
I have a question.
Sure.
Never mind. Forgot it.
All right, here we go. So it is coming right along. Again, this is my... Good Lord. I have yarn barf all over the place.
Is that what the problem is?
I don't know what's the problem is. I think I've got some weird...
Why do you have so many ends to weave in?
Because I had to... I used this part for the part that I'd already knit for the border, and then I should probably weave in those at some point. But yeah, so here we go.
Well, okay, can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
So this is a question for you and for our viewers. When I have yarn that I'm using for a project that's been used in another project, or let's say partial skeins, but it's all the same colorway, and it doesn't really matter, like I don't have to do any matching or anything, what I tend to do is magic knot it and just keep knitting.
Yeah, I don't know magic knot.
Do you?
I mean, I'm willing to learn, but the one time I did a magic knot, it fell apart and you had to redo it.
I've heard people talk about that, is like how it doesn't stay together. It's always worked really well for me, but it's like when I move, so I've never used 100% pure non-superwash wool for a project, so I've never done the spit splicing thing, which I would assume is probably the best way to join 2 skeins or two bits of yarn. But I always do the magic knot to keep going. I've
done it before. I said and it worked. I've done it twice. Once it worked, when I probably tied it correctly. The other time it did not work, when I probably did not tie it correctly.
Okay.
And then every other time I've made you do it.
Right. Okay.
So
because you've got all those ends, and that's because you had a bit of yarn that you used, and then you went to the rest of the skein.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Right. So, but yeah, it is coming right along. Again, the idea is I will knit. What's fun about this pattern again is the idea is to use the entire skein of yarn, or until you're comfortable being done, and you do it by weighing. So what I did is I knit this much and weighed how much I had, and then I weighed the skein, and then I know when I'm at 20 grams left, I will start the rib again.
So the rib was 20 grams?
18 maybe? I can't remember. I've got it written down somewhere.
Seems like a lot. For a 100-gram skein?
I don't know. Maybe 10? I can't remember.
But you did write it down.
I did write it down. The pattern really helpfully...
20% of your skein was the ribbing. And this is the Herd of Turtles colorway.
This is the Herd of Turtles. It's a very heavy skein. I don't know.
This is a 700-gram skein.
So, yeah.
This is not 20 grams.
Shut up. Maybe it's like 15.
Okay, so no,
so
it's
anyway,
not. It's not. So
look, I wrote it down. The pattern is really nice. It says it's written for like people who have trouble following directions.
Did it give you a blank?
Yes, it did. It did. It's like weigh your yarn, write down how much you have. Weigh your rest of your yarn, write down how much you have.
It said if your name is John and you live in Minneapolis, write it down.
Well, like
everybody else can remember that it's not 20 grams.
Shut up.
That's an entire mini. Anyway, go ahead.
Whatever.
Sorry.
So, anyway.
I apologize. I take it back.
I love you very much.
As well you should.
Right. Oh God, we're punchy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, it's coming right along, and I think someone had mentioned, I think in the comments that they'd done one.
I just looked in the comments. It's not one that I'm going to talk about, but I did respond to them.
Right, where they did a Sockhead yarn cowl, and it ended up being like 20 inches tall. I don't know if I'm going to go that far, because this is what. Oh, I don't know.
That's probably 8
Probably 8. So maybe I'll go another 8.
Just keep going.
I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, if it gets squishy and it's all bunched up, that's kind of fun too.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned the sock. Well, more than one person talked about the sock.
Head hat?
Sock head hat.
Mm-hmm.
I had responded, I can't imagine you knitting a sock head hat just because of it being fingering weight. But you're going to have done more than a hat by the time this is done.
Probably. I mean, it helps that it's literally, it's one of, it's a.
What size needles are you using?
I don't know. 3s maybe?
Who are you? You're a monster.
If you...
that you don't know what needles you're using.
Wait. Oh, there are 3.
No, oh God. So...
I mean, I usually write down on the pattern what size needle I'm using. But I think...
But it's not sock size.
No. It's like, I think it's a 3.
Yeah. Well, so regardless, are these the Chow Goo interchange? Oh, these are the Chow. Yeah, these are 3s, 3.25 millimeters.
Oh, see, look, I didn't have to keep track. It's written on the needle.
It is written on the needle.
So
can you see it?
No. Shut up. I'm knitting.
I pretty much am losing my close-up eyesight. So
yeah. And I did the rib in the same. I didn't switch the needles for the rib. I just don't care. Like sometimes.
Oh yeah.
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah. No, I mean it's a cowl.
It's a cowl, right? It's not a fitted piece. So
right.
Anyway, it's coming right along. See, look, really pretty. I love the colors. If I were gonna go simply by aesthetics, I think the other one looks better with the slip stitches. I thought it was.
I would disagree.
Okay.
I would disagree because I think that this is an example where the yarn, you need a vanilla project so the yarn can be the star. Because that yarn, I did not like that yarn when you were doing the other project. It looked messy to me.
Okay.
Now, I love that yarn.
Okay.
Because it's like a green, foresty background with pops of color. It reminds me of like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like the tulip fields in
Norway?
The Netherlands.
Sure.
Dutch land. Holland.
The Low Countries.
Yes, Pays-Bas, Les Pays-Bas.
So yeah, it's coming. So like, I mean, I think it's getting there.
Yeah.
And I'll just keep getting. I mean, maybe by the time we're done with this season of Star Trek: Next Generation, it'll be done.
So tell us about that yarn.
So, it is the yarn dyer is Herd a Cats.
Just snorted.
It's Road Trip Sock Yarn, Roadside Wonders, Bishop Castle.
I was hoping you'd just try to remember from.
I think it'll be to my friend just in time for it getting cool. No, it's. Because I think about
You'll get it done before that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been knitting exclusively on this. Again, this is my TV knitting, so popcorn knitting, which apparently is now catching on.
So this is going to become a full-on battle. Rivalry? Is that a word?
Rivalry? Sure.
Is that a word? Mm-hmm. Because I'm thinking Ravelry.
No, rivalry.
Rivalry. I said in the comments to somebody, this is a full-on rivalry because there are a lot of people that are supporting you in your popcorn knitting made-up term. Somebody said I've heard it both ways. And I'm like, crap, now I have to fess up and tell John that that's actually a thing.
You know what?
It's potato chip knitting. I don't like potato chips particularly. I like popcorn better than potato chips, but it's potato chip knitting.
I feel like, here's my deal, is that I feel like popcorn is the whole thing is it's something you do while you're watching. I mean, popcorn is specific to watching a movie, whereas potato chips could just be for dinner.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Okay. You just lost me.
I feel like I don't eat potato chips like that.
I don't eat potato chips either.
Yeah. So, anyway, it's my popcorn knitting project. I like it. It's coming right along.
I don't
Herd of turtles.
Oh, that's not true. It's herd of cats.
I know. So there we are.
All
That
right.
is that.
All right, so I'm going to start off with my finished object, and I spent I spent months on this. No, just kidding. 2 days, but like a matter of not that many hours. So this is a pothole. I mean, a dishcloth, obviously. Betty Ann gave me, I think this is a free pattern. 3 easy pieces washcloths. I had the only wash or dishcloths that I've ever done is the grandma's favorite or something like that. It's a really popular pattern. So Betty Ann sent me these to try something different, and it's 3 easy pieces washcloths by Elizabeth Carls. And it says these 3 super easy wash/dishcloth patterns were designed for my Get Your Knit On workshop. This is back from 2009. So there are 3 different patterns. And so the other day or yesterday, I was just like, you know what? I just want to do one. So mainly because my Entrelac hat pattern, I got stuck and confused, and I just wanted to knit something that...
You wanted to do some popcorn knitting.
I wanted to do some potato chip knitting.
That's not a thing.
So, a couple things. I know it's just a dishcloth, but I want to talk about a couple things. So, one is that, you know, it's made out of the Knit Picks Dishy. And so what I did was, so I guess one of the things that I've not bought a lot of Knit Picks yarn, but I feel like it's on the light side as far as weights go. And
like just the Dishy or everything from them?
Well, I feel like, I mean, the worsted wool of the Andes or whatever it is, that sweater quantity I bought seems light.
Okay.
As far as like when it comes to it being worsted yarn.
Sure.
And so, what?
Someone commented on the fact that whenever you say something, I just say sure, and that's like my like.
They said that?
Someone said.
I
I
don't
comments.
remember that.
I can't
That's
remember.
fun. Good. Somebody else recognizes that he's dismissive.
It's not dismissive. It's just my non-answer of an answer.
Right.
Sure.
So this Dishy, I made a dishcloth out of just this yarn, and it's much. It's noticeably thinner than the other dishcloths that I've made or been gifted. And I think, what's that one that they have at Michael's that everybody buy? Peaches and Cream or something like that.
Sure.
Is it Peaches and Cream? Sure.
I don't know.
I think it's anyway, it doesn't matter. But there's a yarn that you can buy at Michael's, and it just seems thicker, heavier. And so what I decided to do was, because I wasn't real happy with the dishcloth that I made in just this, was to hold it double. And girl, this is a dishcloth.
Yeah, that's solid.
It's pretty solid. However, I'm okay with that. Like,
yeah, it's a dishcloth.
Yeah,
you don't want it to fall apart while you're dishing with it.
Yeah. So I like the pattern a lot. It's pretty straightforward. It's garter. It's got a garter border on the top and the bottom, and then you do garter. Well, it's got a garter border, and then the middle of it is stockinette. So it creates this cute little square, but it's I wouldn't say it's too heavy, but it's definitely a lot heavier than if it were,
Let me see.
I don't know, held singly, obviously.
I like it. It feels solid.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we like it, because I might just go to I might just not buy. I mean, people like the Dishy, though, I think. I think it's pretty popular. It just seems
maybe if you did
too thin to me.
Maybe if you did a smaller needle size, it might be tighter. Maybe that's the issue.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, gauge.
Well, no, I mean, it's a dishcloth. Who cares about gauge, right? So, anyway, yeah. So it was a fun little thing, and it was fun to get something done. And I like the way the 2 yarns look.
Yep.
Marled.
No, I like those colors together too.
Yeah.
And because you bought them to go together anyway.
Yes, I did. So I bought them to do dish towels, where this would be the solid color of the dish towel and this would be the stripes in that one pattern that Betty Ann had pointed out to me. but it's going to take 9 years to knit one of those dish towels. So I was like, oh, I'll just use the yarn for the dishcloth.
Something to be said about having a project that is over quickly.
Yeah, I don't think I'll knit a lot of dish towels. I think I'll just buy them. Because I mean, I like the idea of being able to make your own things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Your own fabric.
But then what will we buy at IKEA?
Exactly.
I mean,
or Williams-Sonoma.
Right.
So, yeah.
Welcome to our bougie world.
Our bougie world. Okay. So, yeah. So that was my. So now, oh no, you've got one more.
I've got one more work in progress to talk about. Having finished the sweater a couple of things ago, and then having sort of had discussions about like putting down projects and picking them up, I actually picked up a sweater that I've been working on for a while. So this is the Thorn Sweater by Martin Storey, and this is something.
And it's in
Rowan Knits.
Yeah, Rowan, one of the Rowan magazines.
Yeah. So this is it's a cardigan, and I'm working on the back right now. It's all Cascade 220. I forget what the colors are: blue, oatmeal,
and orangish,
burnt
rust.
pumpkin. I don't know. I don't have the ball bands here, so
this goes back to everybody talking about you naming colorways burnt pumpkin. Sorry.
I like it.
Burnt
so anyway,
pumpkin.
This is so I've been working on this for quite some time. This is what we call the opposite of popcorn knitting.
Yeah.
Because I have to. It's this pretty involved colorwork pattern. It's like a 16-row repeat. So yeah, you can't not pay attention to it. Although the sort of the pattern is I think it's a 12-stitch. Yeah, the unit, so to speak, of the repeat is a 12-stitch repeat. So once you get towards the end of it, you kind of have it memorized, but you still pay attention to it.
It's a 12-stitch repeat, but at how many row
it's
repeat?
16-row repeat.
60. Oh, you said that. That's right.
So, yeah, so this is the back. It's a cardigan. It's all the pieces are knit flat and then seamed together, which I'm sure will be super fun. So, yeah, I'm almost to the part where I get to start doing the armhole shaping. I'm about 2 inches away from that. So
I feel like Cascade 220 is one of those workhorse yarns that people talk about, because I knit that the first time I knit that Metropolitan hat from the Metropolitan Hat and Cowl hat, I did it in Cascade 220, and it's such a great workhorse yarn, and I think 220 the name 220 comes from the fact that it's 220 yards in 100 grams.
Sure.
I think if I remember correctly,
I don't have a ball band, so yeah, this is worsted. So yeah, I'm excited. My goal is to hopefully get this done by the end of the year, so I'll have done 3 sweaters this year.
Jeez Louise.
I know.
Yeah.
But I feel like, and what I've been doing with this one is basically when I get up in the morning, I take Harris for his walk, I make my coffee, and I've been doing a row. And then this week we had a virtual knit night, and I did like a couple of rows. So, yeah, it's just this is just going to be something that I have to sort of work steadily on. I can't really focus on it for like long times on end because it's too much, and my hands. This sounds a little silly. The color work is so involved, my hands get tired working on it.
Okay.
I'm doing it Portuguese knitted on the back with the 2. So if we do the color work in Portuguese knitting, we have the 2 pins on your. So instead of like 1 pin like this, you have 2 pins with each color. So it's fine. It's just very involved. So, but yeah, I figure if I can do like one or 2 rows a day, it'll get done eventually.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
Ta-da! And this is what the back looks like, which I always find the insides of stuff really interesting. So yeah.
Very good.
Coming right along. Again, it's just going to be
It's going to be a long-term project.
It's a tortoise. It's a herd of tortoises, not a herd of rabbits.
It's a
type project.
Exactly.
So anyway.
All right. So, speaking of sweaters, I'm not going to show mine, but I'm working on
You've got Well, I think I did a lot done on it.
I did. I
Okay.
do. But I mean, it's, you know, it's really, it's
like
to show it. It's like, oh, look, it's the same sweater, but the sleeve is a little longer. So
Right.
people talk about being on Sleeve Island, like they just knit on this, feel like they knit on the sleeves forever. I'm not having that problem because to me it's like a big sock, and so I love it. It's just that the Entrelac hat for our knit along, the socks that I did for Betty Ann that
Right.
that were for Chevyrell's
Knit along.
80s Kids Mal,
Mm-hmm.
I think is the hashtag 80s Kids Mal.
Mm-hmm.
So what was my point there? Oh, those have kind of been my focus.
Right.
And so the pullover I've kind of been doing here and there. But yeah.
I also
so-
find that, you know, sweaters in the summer, you're just not that motivated to.
Yeah, people say that. That doesn't really come into play for me.
Okay.
It's like, it's not like, you know, because people are like, oh, it's, you know, this big heavy bunch of fabric on your lap and you get hot. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
if I were knitting outside, that would be true. But
We're mostly in the air conditioning.
We're mostly in the air conditioning, so, or in the basement where it's
Really
65
cold,
degrees. So, all right, so then let's jump into our knit along.
Let us do that.
Because we both have works in progress for that.
Which is also not a knit along. Like everything, it's also it's a make along because you can crochet too.
True. It's a cowl and a cowl.
It's a cacao.
Yeah, it's a crochet and knit along.
Crocow.
So it's the theme is Entrelac and Intarsia, and encouraging people to try those techniques. We had not done projects incorporating either technique, and so we wanted to give it a try ourselves and also encourage other people to try it, and we get inspired to do patterns based on seeing what other people are doing. So
And here,
thanks to Nancy from Trilogy Yarns, her glamorous base, which is her sock yarn, is an 80-20, which is, I really like it. I mean, I really like that it's
so-
80-20,
yeah.
and you know, sometimes that just like 5% makes a difference. It's 80% merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards for 100 grams. And this is Titan.
and this is Conquest.
Yeah, so
This could be yours.
this could be yours. So they're beautiful yarns. And I'm excited because she gifted us a couple other skeins that we're going to use for upcoming projects.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm excited to do that.
And we got to meet her, or you'd already met her.
Well,
On
so
the virtual knit
knit night,
Yeah.
yeah, we've met her, so that's
kinda
been
nice.
really, because she's
She's a hoot.
got a great sense of humor, and she's super nice, and yeah, so that's what prompted the knit along, and so
Here, we'll feature these a little more prominently.
yeah, so
No, leave alone.
I don't know that that's in frame, but go for it.
Sure.
Do you want to? Well, let's go ahead and talk about yours, because
Yours has like complications.
mine has drama.
Yeah, mine had drama last week. This is the drama is.
Oh yeah,
over.
yours did have drama last week.
So yeah, I am knitting for Scott a pair of Argyle socks. The yarn I'm using is from.
Why do you have a project bag inside a project bag?
This is for the extra yarn and the bobbins that I'm not using. I actually for that last shawl I did that, the project bag inside the project bag for the yarn I'm not using, so it doesn't get tangled up with the project.
That's a good move. That's
It
smart.
is. So in my Cody Knits bag. So let's actually find the project. So this is Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper colorway. The gray right here is called Heirloom. And then the other two colors are from a set of mini skeins called Spice Market. So here's where I am right now. So I am starting the decrease of the first set of diamonds. So yeah, it's...
How do you feel about knitting? Because I know knitting socks is not your favorite thing to do. How do you feel about knitting socks flat? Are you enjoying it more?
You know what? If this were just like a vanilla thing, it would be fine. But the fact that it's Entrelac and it keeps... I mean, the cool thing is that the pattern keeps changing. So it's
Yeah.
kind of fun and exciting. So that doesn't really bother me.
Oh, okay.
And like, obviously, like most people, I find knitting easier than purling, but the other thing is like, what, 64 stitches back and forth, so it doesn't take that long.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's coming right along. The thing I'm not sure about, and this goes back to our early conversation about weighing yarn, is so these colors are mini skeins, and I'm not sure if I have enough. The plan was originally to alternate the colors, so you'd have this like crazy sock with like different colored triangles on different diamonds, like we'd be like use all 6 for the
Right.
But I'm kind of liking the way this works, the way these look together, so I might see if I can go, I'll finish this little thing, this set of diamonds, and see how much I have left over. I'll weigh my yarn and see if there's enough to just do a full set of socks with these 2 colors. 'Cause I love the way this...
Oh yeah, the colors go together.
Yeah. Well, no,
Great.
the mini skein is fine because all the colors go together, but I'm just sort of, I kind of like the uniformity of this. So we'll see.
Because you have how many, after you do these 3 diamonds, how many more diamonds
So I do
have?
another set of diamonds.
So you have 7 diamonds total.
No, so I do, for this one sock, you do 3 rows. So 1 more complete set of diamonds and then a 3rd middle diamond for the instep.
So 7 diamonds per sock.
1, 2, no, because this is a
Oh, I keep
a half
forgetting they're
diamond.
half diamonds.
Half
That's
diamond.
right. So 5 diamonds per
5
sock.
diamonds per sock.
I
And
keep
so
forgetting about the
what I'll do is I'll
half
figure out when
diamonds.
I'm done with this middle one, I'll weigh what I have left, and if I think it'll be enough to just do the both socks like this, I'm just gonna do that because I love these 2 colors.
Gotcha.
And then I could do my own set of Argyle socks for me.
Well, and I don't care about matchy socks.
No. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Or I might do the instep in a different color just to kind of keep things fun and poppy. But yeah, this is coming right along.
Oh, that 5th diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
That would be
maybe
really
I'll do
good.
that.
Yeah.
But I'll see how things look. But I love these 2 colors together.
Yeah.
I think they're just fabulous. And I think we talked about this before, like using yarn from the same dyer that's the same base. It just everything just sort of holds together so well. And here's the back, and then I'll do the overstitching, and I may change. So the overstitching,
You're not going to need to do the because that color's the same as that, right?
it's not quite there. I might change. I might do a different color for the overstitching.
Okay.
If I'm going to use this so let me see if I can find. Well, it doesn't matter. So I may like find another. Because I think for overstitching it doesn't matter so much as long as it's about things. So I might find like a brighter. I might use one of your golds and do that for the overstitching, just so it pops a little bit better.
Gotcha.
We'll see. But yeah, this is really fun. I'm excited about getting it.
So you're
done.
not having any struggle with the bobbins now that you've reduced.
I mean, I have to detangle every 2 or 3 rows, but yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing horrendous.
And Vicky Neal,
Right.
who we've met virtually,
Yeah.
she commented that if you keep your bobbins a little closer to the working project, it's a little easier to manage.
What she said is to make them small. I mean, these are huge bobbins.
Okay.
So, and I think there are ones that are called butterfly bobbins that are actually just the yarn wound into butterfly things and use less of the yarn on them. So you're having to and that would be a good time to use that weird magic knot thing. So you only have like a little bit of yarn hanging off, and then you just keep adding to that yarn.
Gotcha.
So when I switch colors, because what happens with the Argyle is the next pattern is the next row is this color there, and then a middle triangle of this gold. So I think when I switch out to the next set of diamonds, I'm going to redo the bobbins.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's just a really good example of how like learning is
A thing.
And the only way to learn is to do.
Right.
So I'm super excited to make these for you. I love you.
Oh, be still my beating heart.
I know. I sometimes Scott gets mad at me because I'm just so romantic.
I know, he's just overly romantic.
All
right, well, let's talk about my drama. So,
hang on.
In my rusted stitch bag that are upcycled sweaters, doing my Entrelac hat. Okay. So, I'm at the point where I've done 4 rounds of shapes. This is a pattern by Theresa Schabes. It's the all squared up 2.0, and it's a paid for pattern. So I want to talk about it, but I have to be careful because I don't want to violate,
Right, you don't want to
give away the pattern. So I'm stuck, and it will be fine. I will figure it out, but I'm stuck. So first of all, this is how it looks so far. I'm really liking it. The yarn is Miss Babs yarn, with the colorway being Stephen B. Goes Gaga, which is custom colorway for a shop hop. But here's my problem. The first thing that I'm stuck on is in the instructions, and like I said, I'm going to be careful and not give anything away. But in the instructions it says knit 10, don't turn. Now I'm on the right side. Or actually I'm on the wrong side. Then I turn to the right side, I knit turn. Then it says knit 10, then it says don't turn. And then the immediate next instructions start on the wrong side.
Right,
so I don't understand how I can be on the right side of the work,
not turn,
and start on the wrong side of the work. Because to me, to get from the right side to the wrong side, you have to turn.
Yeah, I would agree.
So that's the first thing I'm stuck on. I did message her, the designer on Ravelry, and ask her if, and I looked all over and looked in people's patterns and saw if, anybody had commented on this. So the next thing I'm going to do, because the next set of instructions talk about doing things knitwise, and you're doing things knitwise on the purl side, which maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, that's not unheard of. The other thing is it involves a 3-needle bind off, which I've never done before. So that's another thing that's confusing me, is in addition to this whole right side, wrong side thing, I'm having to do a 3-needle bind off. So what I would be interested to know is if there's anybody out there who's knit this pattern before, because I would love to chat with somebody about this.
And just do a walkthrough.
Which is super selfish of me, I know, because it'd be like, hey, can you help me? But,
that's kind of why we do this whole thing, right?
So I'm just a little stuck, and I just need to pick it up and try it. And the good thing about Entrelac, which I hadn't really thought about until this all came about, the thing about Entrelac is that you can pull your yarn out. I don't think that's Harris. Yeah. You can pull your yarn out back to the previous shape, to the previous square. And because you're picking up stitches all the time. So it's very easy to pull out if you make a mistake, to pull out to the previous square. So you don't have to put any lifelines.
Or you don't have to tink back.
Yeah, you don't have to tink. You don't have to put lifelines in, things like that. So I just need to do it, trust the pattern and just do it. But
yeah, it's hard to trust the pattern when you're not sure what the pattern is actually saying.
Well, that's a good point. So I think I'm just...
Because sometimes I've gotten stuff where I'm reading a pattern and I'm like, that makes no sense to me, but I do what you do is I go onto Ravelry, I'll look at the pattern, see their comments, and sometimes you'll see like, I was confused with this or blah blah. But if you see no comments, you're like, well, is it just me?
Right. Because I think that what she's trying to...
People who buy patterns aren't usually shy about when there's something wrong.
Right, exactly. So I mean, I think ultimately what happens with this pattern is that you take the what am I trying to say? You take the shapes, because I'm about to the point where I'm reducing down to get to the crown, and you end up joining some of the shapes together. That's why there's a 3-needle bind off involved. And so I forgot what my point was about that, but anyway.
It's just different, and you don't have I think like you don't have the, because you don't, it's a new technique, it's hard to judge whether you're reading it right or not.
Right. Oh, that's what it was. All I'm doing is reducing shapes down. I'm not purling. It's not like it's all knit on the outside, on the right side, and it's all purled on the wrong side. So it's not like there's weird purling,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, so. Now I have to give a shout out to our friend Susanna Warner, because she did gift me a Entrelac DK recipe pattern thing on Ravelry.
What does that mean?
Well, it's kind of like a recipe for Entrelac, because I mean Entrelac is basically those squares together.
Okay.
So it's another pattern or another recipe that you can use for Entrelac, and so I'm gonna review that and see if there's a similar section.
Oh, that makes sense.
In that pattern that
can
help me understand.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah.
Because it seems like it's the final section that goes into the crown that is why things are different, right?
Right.
Cool.
Exactly. So that's where I'm at with my Entrelac hat, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and I think I think we keep talking about this, is like, it's just so fun watching what people have done.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so then
should we do the movie?
That's all of our knitting stuff, right? I mean, all of our.
Do you want to do comments, or we can do the knitting, the
movie?
Let's
talk about Dame Angela Lansbury.
We should. So we watched Sweeney Todd,
the 1983
filmed stage version of the National Touring Company.
The National Touring Company. So, a couple pieces of trivia that I did not know and other people did not know was that Angela Lansbury, actually, the role of Mrs. Lovett in Sweeney Todd was written for Angela Lansbury.
Right.
She originated the role. She was in the original Broadway production, but she was also in the touring production. And she's pretty awesome.
It is. So, someone once described it to me as a perfect performance. And it's pretty astonishing. I mean, I think one of those things where, she is just so. Maybe that's what happens when you have, Stephen Sondheim write a part specifically for you.
Right.
It just fits. Like, she comes on stage, she is that character the whole time. You never.
And her voice it's not like you hear her voice and it's like, oh, she's got such a beautiful voice. She's such a songbird. Like, that's not exactly how
and she does have a beautiful voice. Like, but
no. But you know what I mean. It's not like she has a objectively on paper perfect voice, singing voice. What I mean by that is she has such that part is so difficult, and the range that it requires emotionally and
it feels effortless.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I was thinking about. Like, when she's on the stage, like, you're just like, oh, that's just Mrs. Lovett singing, and that's what she sounds like. And there's this complete, I think, everything is just all there. Right. And I mean, I think that helps when you've helped create the part, and at this point she's been doing the part for several years on stage, but it felt she's just so good.
Yeah.
And someone told me that the whole point of Mrs. Lovett in that play, in that show, is she's so insane, right? Mm-hmm. That character is so insane. Is what it does is, like, Sweeney is also insane, but you don't notice it because Mrs. Lovett is like right next to him at like a 15, and he's like at an 8.
Right.
So, so we have a couple of bones to pick.
We do.
We do. So one of the things that we have always loved about Angela Lansbury and her body of work is she often incorporates the fiber arts into performances.
Oh, that's right.
So we have featured Angela Lansbury making fabric. You know, if she did it in National Velvet, she did it in the Mirror Cracked. We have pictures
Mirror
of
Cracked. That was the one I couldn't think
She
of.
did it off stage in the Harvey Girls, and so we were very excited. So in Act 2, in the song "Not While I'm Around," it comes on stage, and she is creating a muffler for Toby, and we got very excited. We're like, "Oh my God, she is!"
Yet again, it's Angela Lansbury and knitting, and our worlds are colliding yet again.
Yet again, we were so excited. So we paused the film.
By the way, I recorded this,
I know,
so
I
I
know.
can insert.
I was about to say.
Okay,
we
sorry.
paused the film, and we're like, "Oh my God!" And so we got our phones, as one does.
Yeah, as one does.
It like reminds me of when you used to like take the. I don't know if you ever did this. We took the camcorder and recorded the TV.
No, never did that, but okay.
It's been done. We never did a camcorder,
We
right?
had a VCR. So.
Yeah. Anyway, so we get there and we're so excited because she's obviously on stage creating fabric with her hands. She's crocheting.
I know. No shame, no shade.
No shame. But like...
All tea, no shade.
Yeah. But we are a knitting podcast.
No, we're not. We're a fiber arts podcast.
We're a knitting podcast. I only crochet chains when I'm doing provisional
No, I know
cast-ons.
that, but we don't want to. I've crocheted. We talked about This is why people say that knitters are snobby. It's because of people like you.
No, it's that I don't have the same connection to crocheting that I do knitting.
Whatever.
So
Snob.
anyway,
So yes, she was crocheting.
She was crocheting.
and we were shocked. However, that does show that she's multi-talented.
she's multi-talented, and I'm assuming, since she did create the role, I'm assuming there was some thought that went into it, and she decided that Mrs. Lovett was a crocheter, not a knitter. Because we know she can knit.
So what does that say about crochet?
Or it was a acting choice because
What does that say about like Aaron from the Fiber? You're specifically targeting Aaron from the Fiber Hustle podcast, aren't
that
you?
all crocheters are cannibals.
All crocheters make me pies out of people.
Yeah, pretty much. That is what I'm saying. Or it was a stage choice because, with knitting...
You only have one needle you have to
Yeah,
worry about.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, anyway, but she is literally knitting a muffler while
Crocheting a muffler.
crocheting a muffler. And so, here's the deal. Here's what I'm excited about. Is that... So, Angela Lansbury played the role of Mrs. Lovett for years, we assume, right? She was on stage, 6-7 times a week on Broadway, and then she did the national tour. And she is creating a muffler on stage every night. And unless she was ripping it out, I don't know if she's that method, and that she was like, Mrs. Lovett is halfway through the muffler, and I need to be in that place every night. But if she wasn't, somewhere out there is a whole bunch of scars.
No, I thought about this. I've thought about
Okay.
this. She only does 8 stitches.
No, but I mean, we're talking it's like my little thing. I did one. If one row adds up, so she's doing this and she's probably. I'm just saying somewhere out there are mufflers.
I'm going to say there's a muffler.
I'm going to say there's multiple. There's at least 2, maybe 3, that were knit by Angela Lansbury on stage. Crocheted by Angela Lansbury while she was performing Mrs. Lovett and Sweeney Todd. I assume
I would pay $1 billion.
I assume those were silent auctioned off years ago.
I would pay $1 billion for one of those.
But that's just to me if anyone wants to gift one to me, that'd be awesome. No, it's just just kind of that whole. Yeah,
I know.
Anyway.
Well, there's got to be lots of other stuff. What was she knitting in Mirror Cracked?
Right, but that's
not as exciting to you because it's not.
No, but it's not as much. Like, like with Mirror Crack,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
She probably knit 3 rows and then just threw it in the fire.
Right. Yes, I get your point.
So I'm just saying that if anyone knows where the Angela Lansbury Sweeney Todd mufflers are, I'd be really interested to find out where they are.
Yes.
They're probably
in some box somewhere in.
That went
some theater.
No, that went to an HIV/AIDS charity in the 80s at some point. It's probably in David Geffen's house underneath a glass case.
Probably.
So I don't know if he watches our podcast, but if
David
he does,
Geffen,
yeah.
Is he alive still?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So let's get back to Sweeney Todd.
Okay.
But
we were on fiber created content, so we weren't completely off.
No, we weren't completely off. My only exposure to Sweeney Todd was the Johnny Depp movie, and we had seen a local production, a local, not community theater, but local professional group do it. And I had forgotten about the local professional production that we saw. However, I did when Mrs. Lovett came out and started singing, and when George Hearn started singing, I was like, oh. Now I understand why people had an issue with the Johnny Depp Helena Bonham Carter version. I mean,
bless their hearts. I like them both as actors.
Oh, yeah. But the voices of George Hearn and Angela Lansbury and all the other people in that cast, compared to Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter, it's not even comparable.
Right.
And I hate to be that way because I hate when people.
No, but it's like
it's
if it's a musical, you should think about the voices and not just put Russell Crowe in it.
Girl. Shade, SweetTeaNoShade.
That is not shade. Russell Crowe was terrible in Les Mis. And not because he was a fine actor.
He was a cardboard cutout of himself, the character.
Right. I mean, I love him as an actor. I think he's a nice actor, but I'm like, he did not have a Javert voice.
No.
So, and again, Javert is not one, you can't get away with singing that role. Oh
right.
My gosh, look at us. God.
We are those gays.
We are those gays.
Okay, what else about I'm reeling you back in. What else about this production?
We should talk about, there's a comment about how Angela Lansbury movies are mean to cats.
Oh yeah, so okay, we'll jump right in there. So Rob DeLine had commented, I've joined the Lansbury along and noticed a disturbing trend. Why are Angela Lansbury movies so unkind to cats? So true. Cosmic Creeper in Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Lady Wellington and The Love She Sought, not to mention all the poor kitties in Miss Mooney's Pies.
Here's what I'm gonna talk back.
He says it doesn't take Jessica Fletcher to spot the trend.
Right, and I think like Jessica Fletcher, she's not like, no one's saying Jessica Fletcher's a serial killer, but she's around a lot of murder.
Well, yeah.
And so no one's saying that Angela Lansbury
hates
cats and abuses cats. But again, there's some dots.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Well, there's something going on.
I'm just happy that Rob has confirmed for us that there are other people going down this rabbit hole with us. Because we know Betty Ann ain't watching these movies because she says her dog ate her homework. But I'm just excited. Rob got me excited that other people are watching these movies with us.
So what we've learned is it's all about Angela Lansbury, like how often is there knitting?
Okay, so we have to start paying attention to whether or not she got top billing, which she did in this. Mm-hmm. How old is she playing versus how old is she? Mm-hmm. Which to me, this didn't really apply in this version or in this.
What happens with fiber arts?
What happens in the fiber arts, and then how are cats treated?
Yeah.
So now we've got 4 things we've got to watch for.
It's 4 dimensions.
Yes, the 4 aspects of Yeah. So anyway, if you haven't seen it,
It's super
you can get it on YouTube. It's not a great quality copy from what I've heard. We watched it on Amazon.
Prime.
No, was it Amazon Prime?
I can't remember. We bought it on iTunes or whatever.
Did we buy it on iTunes?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, you can get it on a couple different places.
Right.
But it's. I was like, I don't know that I want to watch a recording of a stage production, but it was
stage
worth
productions
it.
Can be hit or miss.
Yeah, but it was worth it. It was really worth it.
Yeah.
So.
And again, it's a good cast. It's a good.
So now we'll have a few comments to respond to. I was really good this time. You and I together responded or acknowledged all of the comments from the last video.
Oh my God.
And I grabbed a few specific ones to respond to. So first of all, I want to acknowledge a mistake I made last time. I was talking about the afterthought heel that you knit as you go, and so it's not an afterthought heel, and I attributed it to Arnie and Carlos, I think because you led me down the wrong path.
Probably. You know me, I just say what comes to my head.
Cassie D commented, Roxanne Richardson just did a plain heel sock video, which she called an insta-thought heel.
Okay.
And that was what I was thinking of, so thank you, Cassie. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Oh, and so then a few people commented. So Kathy Evans, Janet Melcher, and I think maybe a couple other people talked about the fact that you can still get magnetic.
Maybe you can't get that on Amazon. Maybe that's
what you were thinking of. Okay, so you've got a couple. Jill's Handmade Stuff was one.
Nice.
Yeah, so you've got a few options there for you.
Lovely. I do love this one. It's got a little Day of the Dead skull on it, sugar skull on it.
Yeah.
So,
the other thing I wanted to acknowledge, the one I grabbed here was Christy Stewart, but several people commented on this about, let me take a step back. Thank you to everyone who has commented about giving us ideas about what to put in our logo.
Oh, yeah.
But it seems to be pretty consistent. People have been talking about putting the "and we're married" hands thing in there. And so there was somebody who had commented about, like, you're married, like using that term to mean different things, like we're married to knitting and, like, you know, just kind of taking funny twists on that term. So anyway, thank you so much for the feedback. A lot of people talked about our hands and stuff like that. So we're going to talk to Patrick about incorporating that maybe in our logo.
I think he's doing the logo design. He has some recovery time, and he's like, I'm going to use that time to work on the logo. So
we'll respond to that. The other thing was, it was funny because a lot of people commented on Betty Ann's Afghan, the stained glass window one that we showed last time, and it was fun to watch people who'd either had a memory of a similar pattern or had knit something like it, and there were a lot of discussions about, like, either it came from Women's World, or Family Circle magazine. So anyway, that was thanks to everyone who commented on that.
I think people commented on that when we did the second half of our video. We had, like, these really pronounced shadows in the background because, you know, we're still figuring out lighting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
we bought an inexpensive light because one of the problems we were having is all of our lights are overhead, obviously, especially in our basement where we typically film. It's overhead recessed lighting. And then when we try to film in our living room, we don't have any lights.
There's no overhead lights in the living room.
No, there's 2 lamps.
Yeah.
And so we bought an inexpensive light, but it's very stark.
Yeah.
I like it, but I think it makes sense to maybe get 2 so that it kind of cancels out the shadows.
Yeah.
But at that point, when we were filming the second half of our last episode, we were like, oh my God, we have to get this done because...
We had I mean, we love filming outdoors, and it's definitely new for us, but it creates a set of new challenges.
Yes.
So
all
right. Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, so we'll
Yarn prizes.
yarn prizes. Yeah, so we'll be back next week with lots. Oh, and we're going to be actually spending a few days on Lake Minnetonka. We decided to get out of the house and do a vacation rental by owner, a house on Lake Minnetonka, which is a big lake west of here. And so we'll try to get some footage of that.
Right.
So I think that would be fun. So anyway,
Yeah.
we will see you
We
guys.
might do some, little splices in.
Yeah, so we will see you guys next week.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Thank you.